Hi everyone and welcome back to another On the Couch with Emma. Today we have the lovely Saskia who is going to come on very soon. I'll add her in as soon as she's joined. For those of you who haven't seen this before, it's basically where I interview entrepreneurs. We're just figuring out what makes them tick, what they have went through that we can learn from. And I know just for myself being 8 years in business now, I have learned a lot that I wish I had known at the start. So that's kind of why I'm doing this. So today we have Saskia. I'm going to let her tell you all about her business. But I met her at a networking event. Seems like forever ago now. I think it was around March and it was snowing. But it just shows you the power of networking. A lot of the people I have on here, I maybe haven't spoken to myself in years, and they've reached out to me because I'm doing this. Or they've reached out to me because for different other reasons, but I maybe met these people once or twice at networking events, and the power of meeting people, I really miss that, especially now with coronavirus. I know we can do it online, but I was even speaking to someone today about networking events and the things we used to do and just giving her tips and stuff. But I really miss actually meeting someone in person and getting that connection. There's nothing quite like it. So there's Saskia now. I'm going to get her to join. Do. All right. Hi.
Yes. Hello, Emma.
How are you?
Good, and you?
Yeah, good, all good. Surviving, so healthy still, thank God. How about you?
Well, same here. And it's great if the sun comes out, but
I
after two
know.
drizzly days, I'm quite, happy
I
to see the sun
literally,
again.
I literally just got a run because the sun was out. Literally, it's actually coming out a little bit behind me. But I love getting out when it's just that little bit of sunshine. But it doesn't last very long, so you kind of need to make the most of it when it shines. So I was just talking about when we first met. It was actually snowing at that time in Ireland. Crazy times, but I mean the power of networking. I mean, we wouldn't be sitting here if that wasn't the case. So I let you then find out all about you, but I'd love to tell other people. So let us know what you do in about 60 seconds if you can.
Yeah. So I work with successful time challenged business owners, CEOs, managers to help them basically get out of the overwhelm and to be able to take that next leap within their business, within their own company or within their team, depending on where they are. So that rather from being only reactive, what happens when you're in the overwhelm, being reactive and responding to all the emergencies, that they can improve their own leadership and really step up and step in that next level of their own leadership, but also the leadership within their company and their team.
Amazing. So it's about getting organized, about like as you say, stepping up, about kind of standing out in your team or as a leader.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
and also to really to take that personal next level, because when you start a business, you are who you are, and your business or you can only grow as much as you on a personal level grow as well. So it is that interaction between self leadership and leadership towards the team and towards the business.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I always say it like being self-employed is like the best personal development course I've ever been on. And as you grow, definitely your business grows, but one can't go without the other. Nearly stuff you're doing in your business life, you're implementing in your personal life as well as you grow and go forward. Okay, great. So you implement all of that with people. So amazing. Do you work with people all over the world? Where are you based now, Saskia?
I'm based in Ireland, but I work globally. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I've
cool.
always been working online, and now even more than ever, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, and same with that as that. I've always been the one pushing for online, and now it's like, yay,
Yeah.
everyone has to do it. So outside of that and the work life stuff, what would you say people would know you for, like your family and friends? What would you be known for?
Um, I got that question last week as well, and I was what I'm known for. I used to be a missionary for 13 years
Well,
and working alongside Mother Teresa. And I think one of the biggest things is that that part, as maybe as contradictory as it may seem, has never left me within what I am doing. It only took a different modality, and you know, being a single mom of two young kids right now, it may have a different outside, but
so hold on, did you just say Mother Teresa? So you literally worked with Mother
yes,
Teresa? Really? So you
yes,
like you spoke to her, and
yes.
what was she like?
She was
You're gonna say
extremely,
not as nice as everyone thought.
she was extremely focused and extremely present to what she was doing. And her presence, the quality of her presence was never related to who she, who she was meeting, whom she was
Mhm.
meeting, whether it was the president or whether it was the lady in the street or the guy in the street. She would also always have that same quality of presence, absorbing her and making you feel like you were the most important person on earth at that moment. And I think that is something that really struck me, and that really was a big example for me. Like, okay, that's the kind of presence that I would like to have when I'm working with people, when I'm helping people, and when we journey along. And so, yeah, she's really the one there that inspires me to put the human person at the center of my business.
Amazing. So that's why I love that question of, I know what your business is, but what are you known for outside of it? Because like how long did we spend together that weekend? And I never knew that. That's amazing. And obviously then that's going to impact everything you do. As you said, you're a mother of two, it's impacting all that, and then your own business life as well.
Exactly.
But what an amazing way to start. What an amazing mentor to have and a person to be around. So sorry, I interrupted you. I was just all I heard was Mother Teresa, and I had to go back to that. But you were saying it has impacted the rest of what you're doing.
Yeah, I think that is also when I left the missions, um, what drove me to start my own business. I was looking for a job. I came out the missions completely burned out, and I was looking to create my own, or to get into the working field. But I hit a wall there, and they said, you know, you don't fit in a box. Your description is not clear simply because you have too much experience, and we can't fit you properly in a specific job title. So when the recruiters were telling me, we don't have there is no space for you in the working field, I was like, I don't take no for an answer very easily. Having lived in war zones and taking care of people in desperate situations, I know what it is to come up with a solution and to find a solution out of the box. So I had to do it for myself. And so that's why I started my business. I was like, okay, I don't want to conform to anything from the outside, um, forcing me into some kind of form that is not representing or doesn't put forward enough the experience I have had, and um, all my personal qualities. So I didn't want to compromise to that, and that is how I started my business, by creating for people who were either had accidents or were struggling with health issues, and who had to stop their work, I would reintroduce them into their working field with the qualities that were still there.
Amazing.
And I really, again, that was where I absolutely wanted the human person and their own unique qualities to be at the center and to thrive within within the working space. So that rather than saying, oh, you have this disability, or you're lacking there or there, what is possible? And that is something that has always driven me, and working now with successful business owners or CEOs, it's the same. What is driving you? What is there that you really excel, so that you as a person can thrive, rather than diminishing yourself to something like only responding to emergencies, because that is what is wearing you out on the long term.
Yeah. So technically, you kind of went from like missionary life where you were responding to emergencies and you were kind of living that, and then you said, "Well, this isn't what I want, and I'm going to come out and do it myself." And you didn't fit, you weren't using all your qualities, you weren't fitting in, and you went through it, and now you teach people how to do that as well. So I think that for entrepreneurships, entrepreneurs listening, and entrepreneurship in general, I think that's better than any degree, really. I think, the Cinderella story of I was here and then I was going through this bad time and I did this and I want to show you how to do it as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's what keeps you going. I always think if I had met me 8 years ago, I'd love to just like give me a big hug and say, here's what to do, And I want to help me 8 years ago, 100
Yeah.
me 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, and I think figuring out your why is a big part of something that, as an entrepreneur, you need. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And that is, I think, also something that keeps you going when things get tough,
Hmm.
because there is more than simply paying the bills or going through the motions because society tells you you need to have a job or you need to whatever. And if you don't connect with that why, and the why may fluctuate from wherever we are standing over the years, but if you don't reconnect constantly with that why, it becomes almost impossible to get through tough times.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, even sometimes my why changes on the daily. So like someone will message me and say something and I'll be like, that's why I do what I do. And it's that one person just messaging or whatever it is. There's lots of different whys, but definitely that's why I could never work in a 9 to 5 kind of thing where I don't know why I'm there.
Yeah.
That would drive me insane. And I think you hit the nail on the head there. So one of my questions is what keeps you going when things get tough? So it's really your why. And then so how long are you in business now, Saskia?
This is my 15th year.
Wow, okay. So how did you build the business over 15 years? How did you get to where you are?
Well, I started off with trying to find the opportunities. I had to reinvent. I mean, I was completely burned out. I had given all, and I was, okay, where do I come from and where am I going? I had no clue where I was going and where I was coming from. So I had to find something that was really close to me, and to find that driving force to help others shine.
Mm-hmm.
I always start to shine when others shine.
Yeah.
And that is where I was able to recreate with the people who had disabilities, to look at, okay, who are you as a person, and from there on, from one comes the next opportunity, and just keep going. And as long as I kept reflecting on, okay, where am I standing and what is my next step? We all have those moments when we are reaching our own glass ceiling and we're like,
Yeah.
okay, this is it. But where's my next step? And by being clear on that all the time, that's the way I keep evolving. That's the way I keep tweaking and moving forward.
Okay, so always looking forward, kind of what can I do more? What's the next thing? What am I moving forward from? Kind of never standing still, and
Yeah,
always being able to pivot, I suppose, as well, and seeing what else you can work with.
absolutely. Being so, and that is something that came up for me in the last few weeks. You know, when you look at tennis players or when you look at really great professionals, the tennis player, he's never standing still with his feet and always able to adjust. And yet there is something grounded where they have that ability to adjust fast and keep that flexibility. And I think that is something very important without losing that authenticity within what you're doing. So the evaluation and the reflection is so essential. That is what keeps me moving forward.
Amazing, great.
And since it's live and we are in the pandemic,
Hi,
little one coming in.
hi. Who's that?
That,
Mama, the time is up.
okay.
There's a new
Okay.
connection video just came.
Okay. You go in there, I'll sort it for you. Kun je even met Benjamin kijken alsjeblieft?
Nee,
Amelie?
Multitasking, another lesson we learn in business, isn't it? Especially working from home.
Exactly.
Yeah, the last day I was doing this, my smoke alarm went off, so I was that's my little issue. Sometimes I have to go here. Um, so looking forward, building the business, what kind of marketing stuff would you say that worked for you that you could tell other people about? And even anything like online, offline networking, whatever you think worked for you.
Yeah, I think the most what I really try to do is to be as close as possible to the authenticity. I'm not trying to portray a perfect image. I don't think it exists. And to allow that power of authenticity, vulnerability, and the stories I'm telling or putting out there, to make it as relatable as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the superwoman, and I know I hear often the sentence, if I can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, there is also a possibility for you to find your solution. We're all in different situations, and so it is also necessary to look at, okay, where am I standing today, and with what I have today, what can I do, where can I relate, and where can I make that impact? And sometimes that is just by being there, and by being authentic.
Yeah, I think
nothing is going from
authenticity
one day to the next.
Yeah, authenticity is massive in marketing, and I always be saying this to my clients. Like, one of my slides is be yourself because everyone else is taken. It is really about showing up as yourself, and not the best version of yourself, just you as you are, and the best version as in, like, you'll dress up, you'll, brush your hair or whatever, but you're being real about, I struggled with that too. There was me, I get where you're coming from.
And it's that reality which gives also the check, but which also reflects, okay, where am I today? And navigating through all my own stuff, what is the lesson that I learned that might be of help to my clients, because I know what my clients are going through. I have that clear picture where my clients are at. So it makes it easier to relate to, okay, and what the story I'm telling is I'm telling it to my clients because I know their situation. I know what they are going through. I know where they are coming from and the challenges they are facing at the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah. And sometimes we teach what we've learned, but also sometimes we teach what we need to learn. So, the things we're going through, like sometimes I'd be talking to my clients and I'm like, this is exactly what I went through, maybe 5 years ago, maybe 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a mirror in there as well. So yeah, completely. So whenever you're, dealing with yourself and you're saying, how do I feel today and all that stuff, and if there's
Just give
self-doubt,
me 1 second. I closed the
yeah,
door. I'm sorry.
no worries.
Ah, la la la. You see, one of those days.
That's okay, all good. So if you're figuring out where you're at, and then self-doubt creeps in, or maybe negative self-talk or whatever, how do you kind of overcome that? How do you get around it and move forward?
My biggest thing is to keep it as small as possible.
Okay.
If self-doubt creeps in, am I good enough? Am I able to deliver? Or I always look at, okay, what is here now in front of me? So the self-doubt comes in when things are too big,
Mm-hmm.
or when I leave them too big up in the air, because then I lose the connection with the reality as it is. So what I do is, okay, what is the number one thing that I can do now where my confidence, where I know I feel confident,
Mm-hmm.
so that there I can expand and say, okay, well, there from there on I can move on. I can take the next step. So I break it down in little steps, and I step back, and I lean as well in my own support system. We all have, even if sometimes it may seem lonely, but all in our history, we all have our support system who is ready. And if we want to connect with it, and I can give a talk about that, but if we are ready to connect with that, there we are able to tap into those resources which we have already present for us, which are there, ready to tap into.
Mm-hmm. Okay, amazing. So it's like taking, looking at it from the big picture and making it small, if that makes sense. So
Yeah,
like, here's what I can do today. Here's how big this really is. And then also don't be afraid to lean on to supporting your support system or whatever it is. We can't
yeah,
do everything by ourselves as well.
yeah.
Really great. Great. So, where you 15 years is great and amazing. Where do you see it in the next 5 years, the next 3 years? Where do you see the business going?
Where I see the business going, it's my aim in my business is to be really, and that is also one of the reasons I have my own business, is to be able to be there as much as possible, also for my children. So to have that balance, as a single mom, to say, okay, this is where I want my children to free up that time for my children while the business is running.
Yeah.
And what I'm working on at the moment is really to to be more resourceful to the higher level management. Not because I have that drive to bring more humanity, more of that people management on the higher level of management, and that is where I want to go, where that even further down the line, without losing, and I think that is one of my biggest challenges, without losing that flexibility of being able, and that is what I love in working with entrepreneurs, the smaller entrepreneurs, is to keep that flexibility of inventing and pivoting in the most difficult circumstances.
Okay. And in what way do you think you might lose that?
Sorry?
In what way do you think you might lose that? You know, what do you think there's a challenge there?
Because that is the challenge, which is always there on the personal level.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as you lose, and that is all the time, the zooming out in the bigger corporations or in the bigger businesses, you might tend to lose that flexibility or that agility to adapt and adjust because it's so big.
Mm-hmm. Getcha.
So it is my quality to bring that personal view into those bigger pictures.
Okay.
And to make leadership really personal and linked to the personal development.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay, well, we're nearly at the end. Can you believe that's half an hour already? Something I want to ask that I recently seen somewhere, I just thought was a great question. It's something I often say to myself even, but what would you tell, knowing everything you've went through now, what would you tell your younger self?
Don't lose yourself. Don't lose yourself in giving. And we often hear that sentence, you know, love your neighbor, and especially within a religious upbringing, love your neighbor. And often we forget the second part of the sentence, as yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is one of the keys to not burning out within a business, not burning out in general, is to always keep that balance between giving and receiving. And that means also to set very clear boundaries on where you want to go, how far you want to go, and be extremely clear and even more focused.
You teach people how to treat you, really. You know,
Yeah.
so here's what I'm going to do, here's what I'm not going to do. And
Exactly.
I always say about, like, when we used to fly, you know, putting your oxygen mask on first, because you can't help anyone else unless you're in a good place.
Yeah.
Completely. Great advice. So 2 more questions for you just before we finish. What is the last gift you give someone?
I gave rollerblades to my kids.
Ah, cool. Oh my God, I've missed rollerblading.
Yeah. So and why is that something that is so close to me at the moment? It's because it brings the playfulness back into maybe one of the most challenging situations, not only personally but globally as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is what it represents for me, to be able to keep that connection with the playfulness. There's already enough serious stuff going on, but if we as adults can keep that playfulness and that agility on those rollerblades as a sign of something, as long as we keep moving in our hearts, you know, the rest will follow.
Yeah, moving with joy is the way I'd say rollerblades,
Yeah,
because you're gliding, you're loving it, you're having a good time completely. And there's so much negativity around, and so much, you turn on the news, all you hear is negativity. So we have to find some joy somewhere. We have to, even when I said before here, I went out for a run, like literally the views, like I feel like I'm seeing them like I've never seen them before,
yeah,
because this is my view. Do you know what I mean? The computer. So finding the joy in everyday things, like rollerblading, like going for a run, yeah,
yeah.
completely will get us through. Well, Saskia, thank you so, so much for coming on, telling us all about your journey. Have you, before you leave, have you got anything coming up? Any offers you'd like to tell us about? Any website you'd like us to go to? What's going on with you?
If you really want to step up, if you really have that, you feel like you're ready to break through your own glass ceiling, no matter where you are at, please reach out, and I'm happy to have a talk, see where you're at the moment, where you want to go, and where is that little nugget or that little pivot you can turn around to break through your own glass ceiling. I would say reach out, and we'll hop on a call to see. Okay, for no one, it's time to be sitting alone and sitting. And I think that is one of my biggest calls at the moment. I was talking to one of my clients this morning. It's not the time to wait for things to be over, because it has lost. We're in this already for a year now. It is time to take well care of yourself and to see, okay, where am I called today to take that next step. And so if you are ready to take that next step, and even if you don't know where, how, what, reach out, and we'll get talking soon.
I think that that's kind of full circle, because you're talking about not waiting and not thinking, okay, I'll do it when. And at the very start, you're talking about Mother Teresa and how present she was. And I think that's a big thing that the pandemic has done to us, because we're like, okay, I can't wait until we can do this again. I can't wait until we do that again. But what can we do right now? And don't stop, don't wait and to move forward until, because like you say, it's been a year already. And if we were waiting a year, we never would have gotten further. So amazing. Definitely contact Saskia. I am going to put your details again after this video into my stories, and you can find her on Instagram and pop her a little message there, hop on a call with her, and move forward. Amazing.
Exactly. Step up. It's the time. It's the time now.
Yeah.
To look at, okay, what is my next step? We're all at that point right now.
Yeah.
And we
Definitely.
don't need to do it all by ourselves, figuring it out all by ourselves. So I
Yeah.
think that is, nobody needs to be alone at this point in time.
Yeah. Definitely. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Saskia. It was so good to talk to you again. Hopefully I will get to see your face like in person somewhere at some event at some time. But if not, that has been great to catch up with you. Thank you so much. Have a
Thank you
great
so
day.
much, Emma, for having me. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye.